Dick me dead and bury me pregnant. That's right, this is going to be the best review on YouTube for Fighting With My Family. I'm going to come at it with from a wrestling perspective. For those of you who know me, I usually focus on comic books, but I've got expertise in other fields. I wrestle myself. So I'm going to focus on what was real, authentic, there was a lot of, and what was fake, and that's what this review will be all about. I wrote notes. I saw this movie 2 times. First time, obviously, I enjoyed it like a fan. Great movie. Very good movie. 9 out of 10. I should have saved that to the end, but I said it. Second time, I actually got on my phone and took some notes down. I jotted them down. They're here on my computer. And we're going to begin from the tippy top, from the jump. If you smell... They did not apologize for making this wrestling movie. This was balls to the wall. It was a lot of Steve Austin, a lot of Rock. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Trish Stratus were all represented in this opening montage. And then little Paige changes the channel to watch Charmed. That's where Saraya gets her name from, Paige. It's a character from Charmed, something I learned while watching this documentary. So of course that was real. The brother Zach gets her in kind of a chokehold and horrible form. The dad tells him that's not how you do it. You got to interlock the fingers, which is true. We do interlock the fingers. You'll never actually how do I say this? Use holds like this. You never do something like that. It's just a recipe to injure yourself. So it was correct, authentic, and with the reversal for it was also authentic with it. She just kind of stepped behind him and got him in a hammerlock, I think it was. Regardless, authentic, real, and that's what I'm here for. It then cuts to a dropkick of the real life Paige, or the older version of Paige. And that was an authentic dropkick. That's what she looks like when she does dropkicks in the ring. And they're wrestling. It's 2 of them, Zach and Paige versus the dad and, what's his dad name? Ricky Knight and Sweet Saraya. Very good job. And after the match, they were doing ring crew, which means that the ring had to be taken down, the ropes bit by bit, the wood, the steel, all that goes into a truck. That's real. That's very common, especially in England, where the boys or the wrestlers on the event would not go home right after their match. Yeah, they're only doing a 10-minute match, but they got to be there 2 hours early. They're also going to be there till the end to help and assist. And you can see them collecting money and counting money because it's a family business. Yeah, man, that's all authentic, all true things. And it's something that's not just authentic, not just exclusive to England. Like if you go to out west, like in Calgary, that's something that's common. In Toronto over here, not so much, unless you're like a student of the school that is supplying the ring. That's when those younger people will help out. But the top guys don't really do that over here. I can't speak to other places because I've never been to other places. Here we go. The phone call where he says, this is World Association Wrestling. All these little independent rinky-dink promotions call themselves worlds, and they all have a world champion, and it's the silliest thing ever. Regardless, he calls, you ever heard of England? Yeah, hit Greenland, take a right. I laughed. Everyone laughed at that joke. And then Saraya says, I'm the mother, Sweet Saraya Knight. You might have heard of me. No, it was a joke that the person on the other line didn't hear of her. She's a big name. You need to know this. If you are a WWE scout, there's no reason why you wouldn't know her name. Her mom's a big deal in wrestling. It's a story of my friend had his first kiss by her. He was in the first row, and she was like this crazy kind of woman, and she kissed him right on the lips. His very first kiss. So Saraya is... I probably shouldn't have shared that. Good thing I didn't say any names. Next, so they're giving out flyers saying live wrestling, never been. And the 3 blonde girls, I feel like every girl who was evil in this movie was blonde. Said I've never had rectal bleeding, but I'm pretty sure. Man, wrestling has a stigma that it doesn't deserve. It's just like, it's sports, man. It's kind of sports, but it's like, it's cool. It doesn't deserve to have that kind of reputation, but it's because of dudes like the guy who took the bowling ball in the balls and people with that who lessen the wrestling, entertainment level, ranking, scale, prestige. It's kind of like dingy entertainment. It shouldn't be. It's pretty cool. Obviously, I have a bias, but I don't know. There's a lot of smart people who like it and watch it, who sell out arenas and plan vacation time. regardless, man, that those three blonde girls, it's the flyer thing also is authentic. That's something that I have done at shows, and you'd be surprised. Like sometimes you'd go, let's say the WWE's in town, and you and a bunch of your friends are giving flyers to local wrestling, and it would be the guys wearing the Ring of Honor T-shirts and all, and they wouldn't even accept it. Like independent wrestling, even amongst the wrestling fans who go and see the mainstream, even to them, it's it's like seen as this low class. What, I don't want to go to the indies. When realistically, man, the biggest stars in the WWE right now, dudes who's holding the WWE title, wrestled the independent scene in crowds of 100 people in armories and gymnasiums. This is the building block. This is how we get to the top, the tippy tippy. Now, Zach mentors a kid he's an at-risk youth, and he chases one of them down and gets him. And Zach's like a hero in this movie for that. There's a training sequence when all those kids are part of the class, and it's like lock up, full Nelson, break, snapmare. These are all authentic. Those moves are all real. And one of the kids got a stiffy, and I learned in Norwich they call them press-ups. I call them push-ups. What do you know? Now, this is the scene with the frying pan where the dad just slams it on the big guy's head and says, "How does that feel?" And then he takes the bowling ball, and he had that bowling ball already. That's a shitty promoter. That was authentic. He asked him, he's asking if you would like to take a bowling ball to the noggins, the niblets, whatever the British way of saying that is. And he just had it ready, just on the side, huh? I see you, Ricky Knight. Back in the ring, Zach was showing a nice clean headlock. It wasn't a nice clean headlock. It was bad form. And they invite the blind kid to the ring. What was his name? Chase? I forget his name. But he was learning how to wrestle. Paige said something like, you're a teenager. What are you going to do? Listen to girls?" Like, that was very funny. And it was really authentically Paige. Like, I really felt like this actress, Florence Pogue, was acting like Paige. It was very good of her. That was when it hit me, and I never felt like this was someone else. I really did feel like this was the character of Paige, so good job on her. And running the ropes with him, 1, 2, 3, hit the ropes. Yeah, authentic. And also, it's hit the ropes. There's times in this movie where people are not going to actually hit the ropes. They will just kind of use it and make it seem like it's propelling them. No, you actually go in there with all you have, and you let it push you back. The ropes hurt. Oh, maybe you didn't know that. That's the first thing I learned on the first day. Wow, even the ropes hurt? Yeah, they'll leave you like a rope burn on you, even if you're doing them correctly. That's just how it is. And then your body grows a callus to it, but it's tough stuff. Zach invites Paige over to announce he's having a baby. They bring over the parents of Zach's girlfriend, and they're at dinner having fun with swear words and stuff. What did he say over here? He goes, yeah, the parents were telling that love story, and the mom was saying, yeah, so there was some drugs and money on the table. What's that? Yeah, drugs and money on the table, and they're just continuing on like oblivious. I don't know if that's how Paige's parents are in real life, but it was hilarious seeing that happen. Phone rings, and it's Hutch Morgan. I don't know who Hutch Morgan is. There's no actual real life person called Hutch Morgan. I saw elements of who I think, and I have no idea. I've never been to the WWE Performance Center. Who I think that he was playing or portraying, but for all I know, this was an original character played by Vince Vaughn, who did a good job. Vince Vaughn did. A retired wrestler who's training, which happens. That's all the trainers in the WWE Performance Center, all the coaches, they're all retired wrestlers. So the phone call put them on speaker. They say, so we're coming to SmackDown. The WWE has a show that they call SmackDown, and they tour the UK twice a year. And because of that, they will do tryouts and give people a shot, like Zach and like Paige. That's real, that's authentic, and that's actually how the two of them got their tryout match and how she was eventually hired. He says that also, we already have a Brittany, so you better think of a new name. That's real. They don't like to double up on names, especially with women. I don't think there's ever been a time with two women having the same name. Tori. There was two Tories for a time. I stand corrected, but I caught my correction. So how stupid could I be? I'm here reviewing this movie. Second wrestling clips montage is because the parents were asking, what is wrestling about? And they showed women like Tori, like Trish Stratus when she won her match. I remember that clip when her retirement match in Toronto, Unforgiven 2006. So with Stacy Keibler's, just these sexy women who were used for their long legs, and that's the reputation and that's the role of women in the sport at that time, in the WWE at least. It looked really bad, and thankfully, like 2019, thanks to Paige, that doesn't happen anymore. It's more like they're wrestling and people are invested for them, and they're not just a washroom break, which they used to be. They used to put wrestling matches of, this is how important Paige is. You would have the big match, and then the second match on the card would be like the second last match on the card would be the women. And it would be like, okay, we just need to come down from all that excitement because now the main event is coming. And that was their role. And they would be out there just to be pretty. It's sad, pathetic. So the tryouts are like Hunger Games is what the dad said. That's fake because the Hunger Games movie came out in 2012 and this was before that. And I don't take Ricky Knight for a book reader. They show a scene running in Norwich. Norwich looks beautiful. And they bump into The Rock at the ring, at the arena, and she goes, "Dick me dead and bury me pregnant." That's the new thing. Allegedly, or she said that because this movie was PG-13, you can only say the F word like once, and they already burnt that in the movie, so they had to change the word from "F me dead and bury me pregnant." It was "Dick me dead." I like "Dick me better." It's hilarious, and the mother says it later on. It's a great thing. So they bump into The Rock. Rock, can you give us some advice to be the next you? I had an experience where I asked a wrestler for advice on how to be a good villain. I asked him, and he's like, "I don't even know who you are. I forgot your name. Like, I shook your hand a second ago. I don't even remember your name was." And he gave me like not an attitude, but he was being real. Like, you can't just give someone advice without even knowing who they are. So, but with The Rock actually cut a promo. He did his shtick. He did The Rock shtick. Now they were nervous and like, "Oh, he's yelling at us." Fake. That's not true. They know all The Rock's catchphrases. When he said he's gonna take the umbrella, shine it up real nice, turn that son of a bitch sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass. That's what he says. I memorized that. I recited it word for word. At that moment, Zach and Paige should have been smiling like, he's doing this shtick. But they waited until he said, and that's how you grab the attention of the crowd. You just gotta take. And he said something that I've been given the same advice. You take your level and you turn it up to 10. Like, that's really what you are as a wrestler. I know that because I had a match. I know that because it's true, and then I learned it firsthand because I had a match where I yelled something in my indoor voice, and I'm like, oh, that's what they're talking about when the teachers tell us that. You got to be real with yourself, and the fans can see when you're not being real. Because I wasn't really sincerely into the character, and I didn't get a reaction to my indoor voice yelling. So authenticity in this movie so far so good. Hutch Morgan goes, "What are you, a Make-A-Wish kids? Leave The Rock alone." That's funny that they would say that because the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the WWE are so like this that to tell a joke about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, I don't know. Worth noting, like John Cena has the most Make-A-Wish wishes of anyone, more than Jordan and all those people, like 500. So they go to a ring in the arena, and there's like people who look like real life wrestlers, like Dave Mastiff, Marty Scurll, Pete Dunne. If those names mean nothing to you, I'll move on. But they were not in a 20 by 20 ring. And if you're at the arena and you got an extra ring set up, the WWE is not putting up little 16 by 16 rings. They're putting up their standard issued rings. That ring was not one of those standard issues. Now the wrestlers who were performing, doing their up and over vaults and all the moves, authentic. Those were all real wrestlers, like a sheik in sheep's clothing. What was it? In leopard's clothing. Hilarious. But that dude apparently is a real wrestler from what I've seen from the movie. Now, they do promos, and Zach says, I shouldn't have swore in front of a lady. The trash talk was on point in this movie at all times, even in the Performance Center. That was hilarious with what they said. And Hutch asks her, "Why do you want to be a wrestler?" "Well, I've been wrestling since I was 13, my whole family." "Yeah, but why do you want to wrestle?" What was her answer? It was irrelevant. But I don't know if that's a real thing, if he really asked her that. Can't speak on that. Moving on. Paige is wrestling. When Paige was wrestling Zach, you heard him speak during. He says a shot kick and a bulldog, and that's authentic. That's really real. When they speak to each other, it happens. And these two are good enough to call it in the ring. Later on in the movie, during the Christmas break, when she returns home, the dad actually tells him, you get a little heat on her and finish up real nice. Like, because these are trained wrestlers who know moves, the ins and out of a match and the flow of it, that's all they need. So these guys are there, Zach and Paige. Unfortunately, Zach doesn't get the job, and Paige gets it. And Hutch Morgan, he goes outside, and Paige chases him down. No, you got to take both of us, or else. I don't know if that's a true story or not, but it was a damn emotional. And he gives him 10 seconds. And I like how they didn't wait till the last second. She was at number 2 when she actually said, "Okay, wait, I take it back. I'm gonna go." So she goes to the airport, but Zach doesn't join her because he has something to do. He says to her. We never actually get to see what that something to do was, but the point is, he just didn't have it inside him to see his sister off at the airport. Tells her not to cry because mom will cry. And apparently that was real with all the people who were joining and sending her off to America. At the post-credits scene, there were real footage of the actual documentary, and yeah, everyone was seeing her off. So she was loved in Norwich. Here we go. Starts in Florida, Orlando, Florida. And there's a woman on a rooftop, and there's a pool there, and there's this NXT hotel. NXT does not have a hotel. That's the developmental for the WWE. They don't live in no dorms like that. Like, I'm pretty sure they pay for their own housing, and they're all independent on their own. And they just clock in at 9 o'clock to go to the wrestling ring. Rings, multiple rings. There's like 7 rings. We only saw 2 in this movie because I know that they have a divider that divided the performance center for, I guess, the actors, and I guess real activities were going on throughout the day for the wrestlers who were training there. So you gotta imagine the budget for this movie couldn't have been way too high. Like, the lead actress, she's a relatively unknown, so she couldn't have been expensive. We got the most expensive dude, Rock, who is his studio, right? So he's doing it for free. Performance Center, I'm sure they got that for free because of Paige. They know that the WWE know that Paige is gonna get a lot more publicity off of this. Of course, they're offering that. When they went to the arena in Staples Center, I'm sure that was free. All the expensive stuff. Oh, I think they shot out of Paige's own home because, again, with the post credits, when we saw what the house looks like, that fish tank was accurate to the fish tank in the movie in that bedroom. Yeah, I saw this movie twice. The second time is when I realized that. So the budget for this movie couldn't have been too crazy. Vince Vaughn, Lena Headey, and who else would have been expensive? I don't know. Ricky Knight's actor, Nick Frost, I don't think he's that expensive because I've never heard of who he was. Sorry, Stephen Merchant, but he was the director, so it's not like they had to cut a big check for that. So they did pretty good on the budget, and it was a good movie again. Let's move over to, where was I? NXT Hotel. The coach says, "We're here to push you past what you're physically capable of." That's real. I know a couple of people, I have a few friends who have done the NXT tryout, and that's the whole point. They're just trying to blow you up and get you real tired to see now that they're finally tired, can they take orders? Can they think coherently? That's what we want in the ring. So the whole goal is to make you real tired. Real drills, those things where they were running in place, touch the floor, jump, do push-up, squatting. Those from my friend who told me, who participated in that tryout, it's accurate. They cut while she was pushing a damn, I don't know my exercises. Dumbbell, barbell. She was lifting and she's cutting her, and they cut over to it. Zach's wife or girlfriend who was giving birth to a baby. That's when I realized, okay, this is also Zach's story, because even though the setting has moved to sorry about that, I had to delete some video files. I was at the tryouts, so day 3 of the tryouts is promo day. Promo means when you do your interview and you're speaking to the camera, selling your character and giving off who you are. So Paige does a good job at it. I'm not sure if they actually interrupt you while you're doing your promos, and there's a leaked footage of the WWE promos, so you could see what Paige's real stuff was, because they were saving it on like a private YouTube video, and all it took was someone to get the pass, or however it got out. It's out, so you could watch everyone who was in there do their promos. We're gonna move on because I Don't know how much time I have left on my camera. Hutch says WWE can put you on the main roster, but only the fans can keep you there. That's fake because the top guy in the WWE gets booed by the fans and is playing the hero role. So it's not true. If they want you there, they'll keep you there. We cut over to Zach. He's got thumbtacks in his back, so it looks like he's gotten desperate. You don't just do the hardcore matches unless like you're pretty desperate and you need the money and stuff like that. So on his way home, he's calling Hutch Morgan. Man, give me a chance. He says, can I speak to someone higher up? Hutch says no. That's real. There's a reason why Hutch has a job there. These scouts are doing all the scouting and stuff so that the top head honcho guys don't have to. They don't care about no-name dude from Norwich, England. If a guy gets on their radar, yeah, I'm sure like the McMahon family will know who these guys are. But that's the role of Hutch. So obviously he says, no, I'm afraid not. What am I missing? We're looking for a spark. I have that in buckets, mate. No, you don't. No, you don't. And my sister does. And it got really, really emotional, man. Very good job. And Hutch says to find something else. Bummer, man. That hurts. Now, that was true in 2012 when that phone call took place. If it really did take place. Today, 2019, there's people like Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks and wrestlers who have made it possible for you to earn a living on the outside of the WWE. But at the time, that was very, very real. But wrestling's gotten more popular, where you can be an independent star, sell t-shirts off of a website, and it could be your full-time job. There was a scene where Paige was wrestling one of the girls, and she hits her, and then the girl hits Paige again. Paige slaps her. That's called a receipt. Real. If you are hurt in wrestling, you are allowed to tag the person back just as a getting even point, and there's no heat, there's no hatred afterwards. It's just understood. You know, if you hit the guy really hard, okay, I got it coming for me, and you'll get it back. Now, they don't do that in the WWE though. That's seen as barbaric. Just like when Hutch Morgan talked her down, and he actually yelled at her like, "Paige, I ask you to apologize." That's real. That's shades of Bill DeMott, who was one of the trainers there, who has a bad reputation for being a hard ass. That guy is who was portrayed when Hutch Morgan told her that. You can't talk back. If you get told to apologize, you should just apologize and let it be. It's like the military in all wrestling schools. I've never been to the WWE. Again, I don't want to speak out of my ass. So when we get to the NXT kind of arena and it's finally showtime, they didn't have a match, but they did like the promo challenge. That's fake. The word promo isn't actually said or shouldn't be said in the confines of a wrestling event. Like during the card, never use words like promo, like heel, like insider terms. So they did their little thing where they talked trash about teeth. Now the women who were there, it's the same three girls. They were wearing wrestling gear, authentic to the wrestlers who were in NXT at the time with Paige. So I saw Summer Rae, Alexa Bliss. The other one was Eve Torres. Names that might mean nothing to you, but it was authentic gear, and we have to give it points for that. Although their names were not actually Danielle Monet and Lexi Kaufman, they were actually supposed to be them, or influenced by them. Same body types, kind of lengthy. Moving on. The fans took to Paige when I watched NXT. There was never a time where she was booed or called the grandmother. Thank God she's not wearing a bikini. That's fiction. Paige was beloved. Paige and Emma, two girls. One girl from Australia, trained in Canada at a great school. She is the reason why we have women where they are right now. Where that first match that they had for that title was the opening match of that night of NXT television show. First match of that hour. This year at WrestleMania, when they set out the football stadium, that's going to be the main event match, the women's for the women's title at the WWE's main roster, WrestleMania. Paige is a star. Like, she is a pioneer. She is worthy of this movie and everything, along with Emma, who also helped with this kind of, they call it the evolution, the women's evolution. The WWE trademarked it as that. The Divas Revolution / the women's evolution. Moving on, I'm rambling. So the fans took to Paige. Oh, Paige wouldn't freeze in a real life thing. I'm sure she didn't actually freeze. She felt comfortable. That was her surroundings. The singing, the signing after the shows, that's real. Fans will wait outside at the door for people, and especially at NXT where it's Florida and they got time and there's no real rush to the airport, the wrestlers will stay. I was at a Maple Leaf Gardens when Aleister Black, who's supposedly this dark and evil kind of dude, even he's stopping for pictures as he's walking to the bus, getting some photos done. So it happens, and it's nice of the wrestlers to do that. Just don't go to their hotel rooms, and then they'll actually be mad at you if you're showing up at the wrestlers' hotels and it's like, whoa, how did you get this knowledge? How did you know I was going to be at the airport at this time? And they got like inside men. There's a lot of fans who want to sell things on eBay who make a living out of that. Don't be one of those people. Now, cut to England. Zach turns on the kids, actually doesn't pick up that kid. And the blind kid, man, gets left at the swings. We cut to the beach. Oh, apparently there's beach training now. And Hutch says, if you want to headline WrestleMania, you got to show me. And he offers the horn to Paige. And I was waiting for the girls to be like, no, don't do it, come on. There was absolutely no encouragement. So at the truck ride home, it's like, are you guys talking shit about me? She's paranoid looking at Summer Rae and the three girls. Actually, Kristen was her name in the movie. And they're like, no, we weren't talking about you. We were talking about her. It's my own daughter. Yeah, you never asked. Summer Rae in real life doesn't have a daughter. Neither does Alexa Bliss or Eve Torres at the time. These were not mothers. So that was fictional. But what was real is they do actually hire women at the time from bikini contests and cheerleaders. Some of the biggest stars right now, Naomi, Carmella, they were cheerleaders. And that's just the remnants of that. I'm not saying it's wrong to hire cheerleaders. Whatever, you're not wrong for something you do in the past. I'm trying to talk myself out of this hole that I dug myself in. Naomi and Carmella are fine wrestlers because they're fine wrestlers. And it's not because I'm not mad at their past. Here we go. Beach training, which is fake. Oh, she changes her hair color. That's fake. There is a lot of branding that is associated with your hair. Like, you can't just do that. There's action figures. There's the video game that's in development, and you just change your hair like that. Like, that, you get heat for that shit. And that was not authentic. And Hutch says, did you just go through a breakup? That was funny as shit. So he has a sit down with her, and she's like, you just been voted prom queen, ha ha ha. How do you think this ends for you? She says, I'm on the main roster as the Divas champion. And he says, today was about proving that. That's fake. They're not going to fire you over rolling over tires in the beach. They don't hire and fire you over that. So I don't know what the hell that was for. Maybe that was just because they're in Florida, beautiful scenery, they had to shoot it there. I don't actually think that they do beach training sessions in the WWE. She's like, no, but you got to let me face real wrestlers like my brother. And I want to face real wrestlers like my brother. He says, your brother's a journeyman. Again, he could have said the word jobber or jabroni. Jobber. Someone who does the job in wrestling is someone who loses. So a jobber is the one who loses. But he used the word journeyman. I guess it was for the audience to relate to. Just use wrestling words. Like jabroni is something that the Iron Sheik used in the 80s. Scott Hall, The Rock. These people know that word. And even if they didn't, people are not stupid, bro. So he's a journeyman. He tells a story basically of himself about how his wife cheated with the garbage man. And then I was also a jobber who will let people throw me off the cage for the real stars and shit like that, which is fake. That's when I knew this Hutch Morgan character. Like, who else could that be? Mick Foley is a wrestler who actually did fall off a cage in the WWE. He's the only one that I've ever seen do that in the WWE. So this is a fake character, Hutch Morgan. It's the Christmas break now. Paige goes back home, and there's a match happening at the event at Social Club. The Social Club. That's real, man. Matches happen at social clubs, Legion halls, and gymnasiums, and man, anywhere you can imagine, dance halls. Wrestling happens in your city. Go Google it, or go join the local Facebook group in your neighborhood, in your city. I'm sure there's a lot of wrestling that's happening there. Now, she tells Zach, I'm going to quit the WWE right before her match. Red flag. What? She's having a match? No. When you're signed with the WWE, you are exclusive. That's fake. You would never have a real match. Oh, a wrestling match outside. You might do an appearance or so, but I've seen people who are signed to the WWE, coming to home, maybe they're on a break or so. Yeah, you might see them before the wrestling event begins. But like 3 hours before, yeah, that's when you see them. When the bell rings, they are nowhere to be seen. They've been gone for long. Like they do not do wrestling outside of the WWE. There's a fight in the ring, a real one, a shoot wrestling match, which is dangerous and a big no-no. He reverses the whip of her and whips her to the corner. Okay, we're supposed to act like, oh my god, she took that buckle. That wasn't dangerous. Then he body slams her. Body slams. It wasn't dangerous the way that she took it. Every move is dangerous. That's why I had to stop and take back what I said. The backbreaker, she took the backbreaker properly. That wasn't dangerous. The tombstone now we're talking. That's a fucking dangerous move where you just upside down and drops. And after the tombstone, he pins her and wins the match. Now he pinned her, and it goes to show you that the wrestling moves are real, even though the guys are not applying it during the matches. This time he's really doing it, and she couldn't budge, get their shoulders off of the mat. She was pinned 1, 2, 3, which is good for business. I mean, if she's leaving the territory to go wrestle somewhere else, that's what you do. You're supposed to lose on the way out because the guys who have to stay need to benefit from the victory. So regardless, it was bad because you never actually do that in a match, and that's a good way to get yourself blackballed from the world of wrestling because word travels and you won't be getting jobs anywhere else. It was in the family. It was fake anyways. This didn't happen. This match, there's no way in hell this match happened that the WWE allowed Paige to wrestle in her own hometown. And this is the internet, so someone will prove me wrong and provide tape, but I'm pretty sure that never happened, especially in 2011. So past the curtain, when they're speaking, yo, what the hell went on over there? Are you gonna tell them? Yeah, Paige is quitting. And Ricky couldn't believe it. And he's asking like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna make money? And she tells him, you're an alky ex-con. Whoa! And then to the mom, when she tries to reason with her, she tells the mom, nah man, this is your destiny and your dream. You named me after your own ring name. And there was like a poster that said, Sweet Soraya Knight. And Paige's true name is Soraya. That was really emotional, really good. Now, the next bit of it is Zach. Zach's on a little bit of he's having a fit, goes to a bar and gets in a bar fight. This is all from memory. I need to look at my computer. He gets in a bar fight. Ricky saves, and I remember hearing someone in the bar say, "That's Ricky Knight." He's a local celebrity, I guess. Saves him from that. But before they even get to him and reach him in the bar fight, Soraya, Sweet Soraya, what's her name? The actress Cersei, Lena Headey, had her best performance of the movie during this moment. She's like, the dad says, I have to get the thieving to save the world, to save the family. What family? We're searching for our son as we speak. And she got really emotional. I'm not doing it justice. I'm doing it horribly. But that was her moment of the whole movie. And when they finally do get to Zach, it's Paige who reasons with them. The words exactly were, well, he says, I can't even look at you. Do you know what it's like to have a dream, and your own sister takes it from you? She said, I didn't take it from you. It was my dream too. She has a real good Paige voice. I guess she's from Norwich, also Florence, the actress. And he's like, why didn't they take me? Because they didn't want you, is what she said. Very harsh. And she said that what you're doing is important. Just because millions aren't cheering for you doesn't mean it's not important. For God's sake, you're teaching a blind kid how to wrestle. I didn't know that it was true. I thought that was just for the movies. Yeah, man, he's really teaching a blind kid how to wrestle. Amazing. So this was uplifting. She returns to WWE with black hair, and she never quit, and they never fired her, is what she says. Cool. There's a showcase happening in 6 weeks. Better get ready. There's a little bit of a montage, and they're playing the song. What was the song? Taking care of business, with a woman singing it. I thought it was a man who sang that song. Now I know. After hours in the PC, in the Performance Center, that's fake. They don't have you can't schedule time with your own ring. It's supervised, and there's times, no, not real. They were not really training in the Performance Center at that time. Matter of fact, I think around that time is when the Performance Center was actually built, and that's why I'm calling BS on that. They were learning how to do suicide dives, which just means that you dive outside of the ring. Tricky. There was a moment where they both ran to the ropes, and because the ropes, it's one rope, right? One wrestler hit it first, and Paige hit it second, and she kind of got a whiplash. Yeah, man, that's true. I tried entering a ring one time at the same time as someone else, where we just hopped above, and because he was pushing down on it, and he got to leap above, my wrist kind of, and it wasn't a pretty. Well, I landed on my feet, but I kind of awkwardly landed on my feet. But I landed on my feet like a cat. I was wearing a mask too, so I couldn't see much. I have plenty of excuses for why I didn't stick the landing, but I'm moving on. Moving on to the beach, this fictional beach where there's only 3 girls training at one time. Hutch offers a horn to Christian, and she goes, Paige goes, "Don't you squeeze that or you're going to get more receipts." And it's like, whoa, okay. Finally some encouragement. It looks like the roster has blended and she's friends with everyone now. The training montage culminates with the double dives being done at the actual NXT match, and they kind of leap up after that, and they're all on the floor. You're supposed to be like, oh, that hurt so much, but they're all smiling at each other. There are high definition cameras that catch everything. That wouldn't happen. Now wrestlers communicate during matches and stuff, but it's more like with touch. Are you okay? You good? And they continue. They're not actually giggling at each other. See Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey at Royal Rumble to prove me wrong. Actually, right after her match, you can see her smiling on camera. I just caught myself. Here we go. Back in England, Roy gets out of prison. That was her second brother, and he has like a moment with Zach in Norwich, and he says like, you know why she's not like me? You know why you're not like me? Why? Asks Zach. Because you have her and she has you, and it was very deep and very nice. We go to the arena. There's a Big Show cameo. There is a Sheamus cameo. These are wrestlers. The Miz. Hey, when The Miz walked by those 3 girls watching what was happening at WrestleMania, you saw The Rock doing his shtick, but the fans, the chanting was not accurate to The Rock. I don't know why they would fabricate that. They were doing the Daniel Bryan chant for The Rock, and you could hear them saying Rocky, but the hands did not match. That's something that I will call out, and that's what I'm here for. Fake. Now we go to The Rock in the press box. She calls over Paige, and Paige is like, "I'm sorry about the hot dogs that I took." No, that's not about that. Now in real life, this is where Rock tells her, "I saw a documentary about your family while I was in England shooting Fast and Furious, and I want to make this into a movie," which is the movie we just watched. That's what happened in real life. And he tells about that she's gonna get the title tomorrow. Yeah, wrestling's fake. You get the title that way. It's decided in boardrooms, not out there in the ring. But the way that they did it was they called speakerphone and called the dad. Ricky, this is Dwayne Johnson. Prove it. Ricky, this is The Rock. Let's prove it. If you're similar, yeah, and I'm Vin Diesel, mate. Hangs up. This beef with Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel has to be fake. I'm calling it. It's just to make you feel more for Dominic Toretto and Luke Hobbs when they actually have a fight. It's fake, fabricated, unprofessional. Rock would never do that in an actual. Did my phone just stop? Well, it's actually The Rock, and when he tells him, "Your daughter's gonna fight for the championship," Mom says, "Dick me dead and bury me pregnant." That's the line of this episode, this review here. Now, another thing, the fact that he called it a fight with Paige, with AJ Lee for the Divas Championship, man, these are all wrestlers. Like he says himself, "I'm in a wrestling family, I know what you're feeling." He would never call it a fight, he would call it a match. We get to the actual match. Am I skipping too much? No, there's the moment when they leave the press conference, the press box, and he sees Hutch and he goes, "Hey, what's up?" You know him? That's fake too, man. Paige would know that these 2 wrestlers wrestled in the same era at the same time, wrestled in WWE. So of course they know him. Like, of course he would know, and she would know that they know. Fake. And again, Hutch Morgan's not a real character, but that's when we find out, yeah, I'm the dude that, the star that threw me off the cage was Rock, and I made him look good. During the match now, she gets nervous before the show. Again, it's fake because she wouldn't have her own locker room, first of all, and she'd be talking with AJ, her own opponent, about the match before her actual match. But it's for the movie, so she gets on like a screen chat with Zach, and like full circle, all the jokes that were made, like about hepatitis, about the match that Zach had where his balls came out of his shorts. Are your balls out of your shorts? No. All full circle, everything culminated with this emotional speech. So I can see why they did it, for the movie's sake. So great job. And she gets out of the room and she's like, "What are you waiting for? It's time to go." And tells Hutch Morgan. He's like, "What the fuck?" A lot of people in the theater laughed at that one, so it's worth noting. During the match, there was a little talk where AJ says, "Are you nervous? What's wrong, little girl?" And Paige kind of froze. If you watch the footage, she really did kind of freeze. She was nervous. She was portraying nervous, maybe. But something that wasn't true was the fans were all for her. Everyone was about Paige that night. They all knew who she was. She wasn't this unknown, how it seems like in the movie. Everyone was fixed. Like Paige, look, one thing you gotta understand about WrestleMania weekend is, yeah, they do WrestleMania on Sunday, where AJ won the title or retained the title. But on the Monday right after, all the fans who just filled that stadium, they're still in town, and they're the knowledgeable ones who will attend the Raw, the Monday night TV taping. Hey, one thing that was inaccurate. AJ Lee tapped out a wrestler who was not Naomi. And during the WrestleMania match, she did tap out Naomi with her Black Widow submission. And I saw during the movie it was a white woman. Wasn't really Naomi. That's what I'm here for. Now, during the match, yeah, it went exactly how the match went. Same moves that were done. So, A, for authenticity. And the fans in the arena were actually cheering. There's footage of it when it was taped in Staples Center. Maybe September, maybe? Whenever the hell it was when this match was actually taped. You can see it, and fans were actually like playing along. So good on the crowd in LA. And they cut to the family watching at home, and the mother of Zach's woman. She was like, "Sick on that bitch." Biggest pop in my theater. Everyone laughed at that one. She just didn't know how to swear. And Lena and Saraya was like, "Yeah, good job." Very good, very funny. And the biggest joke of the movie happened at the end. So, that's what we're talking about. It culminated with the speech, the talk on the phone with Zach. Everything kind of came full circle. And the post-match promo after Paige won was fake. She did not actually get on the mic to do the whole talking. Now, she did meet up with the girls and the curtain behind the curtain after the match, and that's stuff that you can watch on the WWE's YouTube. Right after she won, she's like, "I'm WWE's champion." She was the champion of NXT, which they never actually addressed in this movie, but she was the developmental women's champion, first ever, and she became the WWE women's main champion. Insane. So, end credits show, and it's like Paige's popularity influenced the... Yeah, that's true, 100%. I think I got to that earlier in the video. Paige is worthy of this movie, 1000%. Again. Then that's when I saw the fish tank during the post credits, and she's quitting. Oh yeah, Paige has a scoliosis. What is it? Something with her back that's wrong. She's also got like... Man, I'm not a doctor. Paige can't wrestle anymore according to the WWE because her body won't allow it. The technology is not where we can assess her and properly rehab her. So the WWE doesn't want to take the risk, and they just said, "You gotta call it quits." She's only 26 years old. This was a great movie. Every wrestling fan needs to see this movie, man. This was fantastic, and it represented us well. Stephen Merchant, who directed this movie, was not a fan. I could only imagine if he were. I'm sure Dwayne Johnson and maybe Paige also gave some advice on how things should happen in the movie. But if he was a fan, this is just opening the door. I would like to see a wrestling kind of movie, maybe with a fictional character, completely fictional story. Just show him working his way up the ranks and get invested. The problem with that is they wouldn't really address the whole wrestling is fake. They barely addressed wrestling is fake in this movie. Closing notes, my name is Chillmonger here on YouTube. You can subscribe by clicking on this right over there. And if you don't want to click on that, you can thumbs up this video. If you made it to the end and you don't thumbs up the video, there's a lot I can say about you. But did it stop spinning? It stopped spinning, which means this video has come to an end. As we go on, we remember all the time we had together.